Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fat Panda, and I am here to give you a little quick look into what your responsibilities each week are going to be as a coach. For those of you who are returning coaches, there are some differences this season that we will go over, so I'd prefer if you did watch the video, as short as it's probably going to be. For the new coaches here, I would certainly appreciate it if you'd watch it all the way through. There are really no reasons why you won't be able to take 5 minutes out of your day to do so. And if it prevents all of you from asking lots of questions, that makes my day easier as well. So there's really no reason for anyone not to do this. Now, each week, as you guys know, it's your responsibility to get in touch with your opponent in the battle scheduling chats for your respective league. That all is in the rules. I don't really feel like going over it and the other stuff here. What I think matters is going over how to battle, because it feels like a lot of times new coaches and also returning coaches may make mistakes. And with the introduction of the National Dex format fully done this season, I want to make sure that everyone knows exactly the right format and everything to use as well. So as it says in Rule 1 right here, every single week, you'll do your battle on the sports server, which the link is right here. If you don't know what it is, you can just click on it. And the tier you're going to be battling under is National Dex Draft tier. Now, if you go over to Showdown, you can see that I am on the sports subreddit or the sports server right here, and I'm in the team builder. It is Gen 8 National Dex Draft. I know several of you are worried about whether or not you'll accidentally or whether or not you can even use the cut moves from the Purge in Generation 8. So Hidden Power, Refresh, Pursuit, Return, all those goodies that we've lost. I'm going to show you that it should not be possible if you follow all the steps correctly. And if it seems that a battle happens where a banned move is used, there are so many fail-safes where that should not have happened that I will basically have no choice but to give a forfeit to the coach that ended up using the banned moves. Let me show you how simple it is. You're on sports. The tier is National Dex Draft. And so you got your mod, so here's just a Zero Aura I pulled up. And it's got Volt Switch, and now I'm like, well, okay, I want to use Hidden Power or Ice, because that's totally legal and I forgot the rules, right? So you get your set all ready and you go to validate your team because you're amazing. Oh, look, this tier specifically does not allow the cut moves to show up. So thankfully, it shouldn't be a problem. If you battle in the correct tier, there won't be a problem. If you notice here, the moves do still show up, which is frustrating, I do agree. But when you go to validate your team, always make sure to validate your team before the battle. Because that way you don't get an unpleasant surprise, 30 seconds before you try battling when all of a sudden your team is rejected because you tried to use Refresh Blastoise this week. For any of the old mons that are still purged, like Victory Bell or Medicham or whatever, you'll be using the moveset they have in Generation 7, minus, of course, the cut moves that do no longer exist. It should be easy enough to find a resource on what that is, whether it's just in here where you can find their moves, or of course Cerebi or Bulbapedia or the plethora of other websites that have movesets on them. Certainly a viable resource to use as well. Once your battle has concluded and you successfully battled in the National Dex Draft of Gen 8 tier on the sports server of Pokemon Showdown, you really only have one thing left to do. You have two things left to do, my bad. The first thing you want to do is go down here onto the scheduling page. You can see all the matches here. All you'll need to do is put in the winner. So we're going to say, Coach XXX1 or WTX or CWC, whichever it is for this one. Then you're going to write down the score. If Collingwood won this match with 2 Pokemon left over, it's a 0-2 match. And then in here, you'll just go right click and you'll insert a link, and you can just paste the link for the replay. Make sure you get the replay, because if you post the actual battle link, it will expire, and then we can't see your battle to verify what happened. So that's what you have to do on the scheduling tab. It gives us a quick and easy way to look over the matches and see, make sure everyone's match has been done, so on and so forth. Then you'll want to go over to your teams page. I'm going to use West Texas here. And you see this box down here? This is new kind of this season. I have updated it so it's basically automated through the entire spreadsheet. And there's a list of your entire team. You're just going to check the box of the mons that you used. And then you're going to write out what happened. So in this case, the example I used was Collingwood lost with 2 mons still to kill. So we're just going to go like this. So there, 4 kills, 6 downs. It was a loss. There were no combat KOs. For those of you who are confused what a non-combat KO is, let's say, for example, your opponent uses explosion during the match. Well, no one you have actually ended up causing that loss or that KO. So you would actually be, denied a KO just specifically for MVP tracking for your Pokemon on your team. If this happened, for example, on a Slowking, he might lose, Slowking might not only has 1 KO, and you'd put 1 in here. See, it still tracks it, but the individual Mon stats don't get tracked. And you'll notice here everything updates. So the week 1 results, differential, the record, everything up here shows up. This is your responsibility every single week. If you do not fill this out, you cannot make trades. You also, if you fail to fill it out in a timely manner consistently, you will most likely not be asked back to join us in the future as a coach. So it is in your best interest to take the 30-45 seconds every week it takes to just fill this out. Most coaches ended up filling it out as they go on, as they are actually doing the battle themselves. But if you're like me and you hate that kind of distraction, just take the minute or 2 after the battle and take care of it yourself. That is all that actually needs to be done. If you follow those simple steps, it should be a very successful, very easy season for everyone involved. And that would be greatly appreciated by both myself and the other mods and admins that run this league. The smoother it is, the happier we are. Should probably delete that as well. There we go. And that is all I have for you. As you can see, it wasn't that painful. The video was a little bit longer than I expected. I'm sorry about that. But I'm sure that everyone has about 8.5 minutes to spare. I would hope. So here's to us all having a successful season together, and best of luck to all of the coaches involved.